Okay, guys, so we are here live today. We got the market mostly pushing up today. We have Palantir earnings. Palantir is actually how you pronounce it. I should know this already, but you guys know me. I always get it wrong. Yeah, we got Palantir earnings this morning. You know, we got this new way of using a chart that we had up yesterday. Let me know if you guys like this one more. With this one, we can put up kind of a little bit of everything. We can put up like gold. We got the Q up here, you know. You can kind of see everything here. Gold, we got the Q, we got the SPY up here at the top left. I kind of like the 3 chart setup here. Let me know if you prefer this one or not. But yeah, today we got Palantir earnings. Palantir earnings early this morning, followed by Palantir earnings this morning, followed by jobless claims later on today. What's up, Liliana? We'll get some music playing in a second. Yeah, the FOMC meeting yesterday helped the market. Shout out to the Bears, you know. My portfolio is doing pretty good today, man. Mostly being brought by PayPal, which we did have some shares of PayPal yesterday heading into the open. PayPal flying up. Pretty close to flat on our PayPal trade. We also had like a bunch of other earnings yesterday. SQ looks like it's gapping up some too. I think SQ had earnings, right? Yeah, SQ gapped up too. That's nice. Apple's still moving up. Market looks good. Again, SPY at basically 425, Q at 360, gold at almost 2,000. What's up, Liliana, Ali? Hey, y'all hit the like button really quick if you can't. We're going to do a poll. Does Palantir beat or miss? I think it's Q3. Pretty sure it's Q3. Let me make sure. Yeah, so it's Q3 earnings today. We're going to do a poll. Let me know if you guys think they're going to beat or miss their Q3. Yeah, so here's Palantir on the right side. They're gapping up nicely today. They're at 1570s. All right, so Cigna raises fiscal year cash flow from operations to at least 10.5 bill from 9.5 bill. Moderna dropped theirs this morning. Eli Lilly dropped theirs this morning. Marriott dropped theirs this morning. Whoa. Honestly, bro, one of the worst things for real estate, in my opinion. Look how bad Moderna's earnings were. This is actually shockingly bad, like crazy bad. These dropped only about 10 minutes ago. Look at these earnings for Marriott. Or no, this is Moderna. I'm sorry. Moderna had one of the worst earnings reports I've seen for EPS. They came in higher than expected for revenue, but they lost $9.53 a share, and they only expected a loss of $1.93. So much bigger loss than expected, basically 4x their EPS expectation for losses. Revenue came in at $1.8 billion, though higher than expected. The Q3 includes $3.1 billion charged for resizing and tax allowances. So maybe that is what's going on. Eli Lilly posted a 10-cent profit beat. And then we got Marriott releasing their numbers too at 211 versus 211, 5.9 versus 5.89 bill. So Marriott beat. Marriott neutral / B. So yeah, I'm surprised Moderna's not down more from this. Gold's shooting up this morning. Again, do you guys like this three chart setup? I think it's kind of clean. You know, we might stay like this. That way we can have 3 different charts up. Again, we do have Palantir is expecting so Palantir, they're expecting 6-cent loss per share, a 6-cent loss per share on a 555.36 million. Up live at 7 a.m. for Palantir. That number up on screen. Eli Lilly cut fiscal year adjusted EPS view from 650 to 670 to from 970 to 990. So they cut their guidance. They reaffirmed fiscal year revenue view of 33.4 to 33.9. They expected 33.5, so slightly better than expected for the fiscal year revenue view. Again, slap that like button, hit the subscribe button, vote on the poll. Let us know how you feel. Been a busy streaming schedule lately. Drinking fall coffee right now. Again, Palantir up to 1570s. We put what they're expecting on the bottom. Next rate hike is December 30th or December 13th. They're expecting 80% pause, 20% rate hike. So that's something to follow. Yeah, RTX did end up pushing up some, so we're still nicely green there. Netflix, we're actually pretty green that one too. Nike, we're nicely green. Microsoft, we're very green. Disney, we're green again. Chewy, we're green again. Apple, we're pretty green. All right, guys. Apple at 176, roughly. Huge push up. Looking at our poll numbers, 79% think Palantir is going to beat. All right, team. All right, guys. So all right, so yeah, yesterday the SafeMoon founders were charged with conspiring to commit securities and wire fraud and money laundering. Dave Portnoy recommended SafeMoon to his followers and put $40,000 in it in May of 2021. If you followed him, you would have lost 99.6% of your investment. All right, time. All right, team. How about those Texas Rangers? All right, team. Palantir earnings. You guys ready? What weight does Palantir have on the index? I trade futures, but also try to keep up with known weighted stocks. No weight, virtually. NASDAQ is up nearly 500 points since 8 a.m. yesterday. Yeah, honestly, you love to see it. Where's Ramsey at with the big market crash prediction? You know, generally, a lot of the big crash predictors work during these FOMC meetings a lot of the time, but this time it definitely didn't. Palantir's probably dropping their numbers at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. At 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, their full earnings call will be. I'll have to go look, but yeah. So their full earnings call is gonna be. I hate it. They always put it in Pacific time, so I gotta like dig for it. But okay, so their actual earnings call is gonna be at 7 and or at 8 a.m. market time. So at 8 a.m. market time is the Palantir earnings. 8:30, we got jobless claims numbers coming out. Good morning, John and all from my oceanfront condo. Markets are going to be green today. Hey, we'll see, man. Markets are already pretty green. Again, I woke up to a nicely looking portfolio today. Looks good. PayPal specifically, one of the reasons we're up. We're in PayPal, but not a huge trade, but we're still in some. Retail traders are back. I'm reading this post about this dude who bought a 4-week treasury bill and thought he'd get 5% over that 4 weeks. That's what I was telling somebody in the chat. Was like, yeah, you'll get 5%. And I was like, over a month? I was like, and I had the same argument. I was like, no, dude. I was like, in that case, everybody would be rich. You know, you can't make 5% in a month, you know? You'd make 60% a year. But anyways, it says, perhaps my financial literacy may not be as decent as I thought. A month ago, I purchased $26,000 worth of 4-week treasury bills. To my understanding, the 4-week bill has a yield of 5%. My bill matured today, and I received 26,100 back, basically. So that means a yield of 0.99%. I was under the impression that the yield on this would be 5% after it matures in 4 weeks, not annually. There must be something that I'm fundamentally not understanding here. The idea of these short-term securities to keep reinvesting them over the course of a year to achieve that rate? Yes. And then the following question is what everybody says, which is, yes, it totally makes sense that the world would give you 5% risk-free interest each month, making over 75% if you include compounding. Is that really what you thought would happen, that you stumbled upon this discovery that broke all of finance? All the brightest minds in the world have completely missed this opportunity for infinite risk-free compounding over the centuries, and in 2023, you are the person that finally broke the code? Or did you assume all the people pouring 100% of their money into low-fee S&P index funds were believing that they would easily blow away this 75% compounding? The often quoted 8% that the S&P makes per year is perhaps the amount it averages over and above this risk-free 75% for a total of 83% yearly. Sorry, I'll stop. Yeah, retail traders are back. Again, we'll see what it means. All right, guys. Palantir earnings in 6 minutes. Palantir earnings in 6 minutes. Really about 5 minutes. All right, team. All right, guys. So, hey, Palantir numbers drop very soon. Will they beat or miss? It has some AI implications with Palantir that you might not realize. What happened to Eli Lilly? They dropped earnings. What time is the news, guys? Which news? The Palantir news? It's in about 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, actually. Do Americans love Tesla? Kind of. Tesla up 2.8%. What did Starbucks end up doing? Starbucks flew up at $97 a share. They're good. Apple up nicely today. Apple up to 176s. We're swing trading Apple. I want to hold a little bit long term though, but like we've been able to capitalize on this one. But just 25 shares, we're up about $220. Relatively small, but like I might take just a little bit off of this. Just to lock it in. Oh, I can't get filled for 3 minutes, so I guess we'll wait. Again, Palantir on earnings drop in a couple minutes. I'll probably take a little bit of this off for Apple because we do have earnings today. Two minutes, guys. 2 minutes. Bank of England interest rate decision due around the same time as well. Everything connected. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of connected. It's not going to be a huge like release for us, unless they do something shocking. Which the Bank of England is the one that's going to do something shocking if they do. Not necessarily us, but them. Yeah, Bank of England interest rate decision at about 8 a.m. this morning. Still about an hour. Jobless claims at 8:30. Non-farm productivity. Durable goods. Apple earnings obviously today. All right, team, here we go. We got about 1 minute left before the Palantir numbers drop. 1 minute left. I don't know. Apple's up a pretty good amount heading into earnings. I'm not saying it beats. I have no idea what it does, but like, if everybody was bearish, you'd think it would be dropping right now because of front loading into that expectation. But it's up a lot. It's up to almost 176. It's had some big moves, really, over the last like 24, 48 hours. It's had a pretty good time. You see, my average is about 166. So my average is way down here. We'll probably take some off here, especially with earnings today. Palantir, we're going to put up on the top left. Earnings drop for in about 20 seconds. 20 seconds. All right, here we go. Let's watch Palantir. Let's get ready. Earnings for it about to come out. American Electric Power Company dropped earnings as well. 177 EPS versus 170. Hyatt Hotels did as well. All right, guys. Watch Palantir. It's scheduled for 7. Earnings call is actually at 8. We got some volatility here on Palantir. Let's watch it. Let's see if it moves. I finally got a haircut too. Dude, I needed that haircut. All right, so there it goes. Moving a little bit. I don't see anything yet, though, for earnings. Not quite yet. We got the Irish unemployment rate come out at 4.8%. Not really moving much for Palantir. All right, so Palantir reports its 4th consecutive quarter of GAAP profitability. They had GAAP EPS of 3-cent profit per share. 3-cent profit per share. GAAP net income was $72 million, 13 margin. 4th consecutive quarter of GAAP profitability. GAAP income from operations is $40 million, representing 7%. GAAP EPS 3 cents a share. Adjusted EPS 7 cents a share. Here, I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, take a little bit off of Apple here. We'll probably take at least 10 shares, lock that fully in there because we can. Palantir expected 6-cent loss per share, or 6-cent profit per share. I think I had the number wrong. Yeah, so they were expecting 6-cent profit per share. But yeah, Palantir ended up showing adjusted EPS of 7 cents, so slightly better than expected on both fronts for Palantir. So pretty good numbers so far here. You can see it up in the chat. 7-cent profit, sales of 558.16 beat the 555. So slight beats on both, but overall pretty good. Let's see if we got some guidance numbers to report. Revenue grew 17%. Commercial revenue grew 23%. Government revenue grew 12%. Customer count grew 34%. Adjusted income from operations was $163 million at 29% margin. Cash from operations of about $133 mil, a 24% margin. Adjusted free cash flow of $141 mil, 25% margin. Cash equivalents, and short-term treasuries, $3.3 billion. Revenue grew 16% year over year to $2.1 billion. Hey, how much do 1 month bills pay right now? Anybody got a chart on shorter term bills? All right, so Palantir starting to move up a little bit. Aapl breaking highs again. Looks nice. Yeah, ConocoPhillips, some oil plays dropped. Company hits milestones. Again, Palantir with a lot of hype from these earnings. Although it seems very premeditated in terms of like the report, but I mean, I'm for it. We already got 200 here and it's 7 a.m. Shout out to you guys. Thanks so much. Hit the like button. We appreciate it. Palantir now green from its earnings report. Very nice morning so far and everything, to be honest. It's really nice morning. Somebody had me looking at the Bitcoin chart. All right, so look at Palantir start to rip over 16s. Aapl still turning up at almost 176 right now for Palantir and Aapl moving up big. Seeing if I find any other updates on their earnings report. All right, so guidance came out for Palantir. They had all right, so now their guidance was slightly increased. It's a very slight increase in guidance. It came in at 2.216 versus 2.21 estimates. So slightly, they raised their guidance, I guess, from 2.2 to 2.216. Slightly better than expected. They put their fourth quarter revenue expectation at about 603 million versus 599.25 million expected here. So we'll put that number up on screen so you can see it. But yeah, good guidance causing Palantir to rip up here. Look at Palantir flying up. It's at 1618s right now for Palantir, 1618s. So good guidance. So we're going to put this up on screen so you can see again. So Palantir, 7-cent profit per share, beat the 6-cent estimate. Sales of 558.1, beat the 555.3 estimates. Raised fiscal year 23 revenue and quarter four guidance. So Palantir doing pretty hot right now, up to 1630s right now, 1630s. We'll probably take another little piece of Aapl off, just lock it in. Now we only got 10 shares, and if it does great, fine. If not, we'll still be green most likely. All right, team. I got to check to see what he's saying since I can't really understand and he seems to just be spamming. Let's see what you're saying. Time for Google Translate. Isn't it a surprise? Yeah, I mean, nobody knows what you're saying, though, brother. Hello. miss. Yeah, I mean, he's not saying anything negative. He's just... All right, guys. Palantir still churning up at 1650 plus right now. 1650 plus. AMD, yeah, Tech doing well this morning for sure. Tech's loving life right now. AMD's definitely loving life. It's at 108, it's almost 110s. PayPal up a lot. Palantir's an AI stock, I believe. I'm pretty sure Palantir is an AI related stock. How about those Texas Rangers? Yeah, so Dave Ramsey says right now is the best time to buy a house in the next 5 years. He says prices are not going to go down. Some of you are saying I'm going to wait for prices to go down. 5 years from now, houses are going to be more expensive. This is as cheap as it's going to be in the next 5 years. Do you guys agree with Dave Ramsey? Again, a lot of this could be propaganda being pushed by mortgage people mostly who are desperate for rates to go down and desperate to talk buyers into buying. Like imagine you're a mortgage broker or even a real estate agent in a lot of ways, right? And rates are at freaking 8% right now. 8%, you know. Are you going to be buying stuff? Or your sales have dried up. Nobody wants a mortgage. Nobody wants real estate. A lot of them are unemployed basically right now and just struggling. You know what I mean? And so a lot of them are just desperate for people to start buying again. And who knows when rates are going to fall? You know, who knows? I'm definitely not buying a house at 8%. Right, somebody in the chat said Dave Ramsey sells leads to realtors. He makes money from people buying houses, so it's hard to trust his advice. 100%. What do you guys think? Again, Palantir, no green candles yet that have closed, but with that said, there's the first red candle actually. Or what I meant to say is no red candles. That's the first red candle since the earnings release, basically, right now for Palantir. Realtor sales pitches: buy now and simply refinance when rate drops. Yeah, of course they want you to do that because they make money on both ends, you know. I think what really happened is this. I think a lot of people bought in 2021 when the market was in a huge bubble. And, you know, a lot of them are real estate people. They're commercial real estate people, or they're mortgage people, or they're real estate agents, or whatever it is, right? And now they're not making as much money as they were. And so now they don't know what to do. They're in this big, expensive house that they can't afford. And, you know, a lot of them are just going to want out. All right, team. McDonald's and Chipotle are increasing menu prices after Cali raises fast food minimum wage, according to CNBC. I also heard that Pelosi has been subpoenaed. All right, what else, guys? What else do we have? All right, team. Palantir almost up to $17, almost up to $17 this year. We'll see if it hits it or not. AMD, where's Nvidia at right now? You know, I haven't really looked at Nvidia, but Nvidia all the way back up over 430s right now. So Nvidia has effectively gone from 392 all the way to 430 in 2 days, guys. 2 days for Nvidia doing this. Palantir still ripping up. You know, this is kind of relevant for AI as well. Palantir is kind of an AI stock also. So interesting for sure. Microsoft moving up. Hey, I'm in Microsoft as well. I hope it keeps on rising. You know, I'm in a very small share of Microsoft, but I want people to understand. Like, people need to understand. Like, they really do. Like, my shares, like, a lot of people try to day trade penny stocks, or a lot of people try to invest in penny stocks. Like, let me show you why you don't have to. Okay, like, I'm going to show you why you don't have to invest in penny stocks. Like, a lot of people think that buying power implications mean that they can't really invest in penny stocks. You know, Microsoft right now is about $3.48 a share. I bought 5 shares, right? So I bought $1,740 worth of Microsoft a while back. You know, my average price is $3.12 for Microsoft, $3.12. If we look at Microsoft now, it's at $3.48, and on that 5 share position, you know, $1,800 position, I am up $180 right now, $180. You know, so I basically made 10% on this trade. Cheap swing trade. I spent less than $2,000 on it, made 10% basically on this trade, almost $200 so far. And to be honest, I had a little bit more, but like I had a little bit more sizing that I've taken off. But again, it kind of goes to show, like, you don't need to take some huge position to make money in it. I have a lot of different swings that are just small. Look at Palantir, still rip up, almost up to $17 a share. So again, if people always justify investing in penny stocks because of buying power, you know, implications, like they don't have enough money, but you can take 5 shares of one of the big boys and make money if you time it right. And so Fed pause and blast up. Yeah, everybody expected a pause though. I mean, again, it's genuinely like clockwork, bro. You can see the people who were just bitter in chat. Some people are just bitter and weird and like waiting to just disagree. Like I feel sorry for him. I really do. Like, I couldn't imagine like going to somebody's chat room and just looking to hate on them every day. But like, hey, it's all love here. Haters mean you're doing something right over here. You know, I mean, when you look this good, people are gonna hate. I got a new haircut. You know, let me see. I got a new haircut. I needed it too, man. It was time for me to get a haircut. But anyways, with all that said, a lot of people yesterday, prior to the FOMC announcement, said that they thought that we were going to raise rates yesterday. They thought that we were going to surprise. Somebody even made fun of me. The reason I'm bringing up the haters is because somebody even made fun of me when I was like, hey, we're not going to raise rates. And they were like, yeah, we're going to raise rates. And they were like, this dude doesn't know what he's talking about. You know, we're going to raise rates today. You know, fast forward about an hour later, Fed does not raise rates. Exactly what I said was correct, which is a very easy prediction. It's not very hard to predict that the Fed's going to do what's expected. And basically you get crickets afterwards, you know? And so in the end, again, I'm going to tell you guys this again. If you're looking at the FOMC meeting, betting against the expectation is a silly bet. Silly bet. You know, it's almost never going to happen. I'm not saying it never happens, but it's almost never going to happen. Like, a large majority of the time, the Fed is going to do what's expected. They're not going to jolt and shock the system most of the time unless that we're in dire straits, you know. So you just got to be smart, take it slow, and understand that the Fed is very balanced. A lot of the time, they want to do what's expected. They're not trying to shock the freaking system here, team. Yeah, that's where I messed up at when I first started. Yeah, for sure, King. I mean, that's where a lot of people mess up, man. And I think a lot of it comes from like pop culture movies about the stock market. Like everybody wants to take the big polarized bet that nobody else is expecting and get it right and have applause rain from the sky and all this nonsense, right? But again, what you realize when you actually study this stuff is that the market is very balanced. Like it doesn't want to shock the system. The reason, Michael Burry in 2008 was so famous is because it's so rare for that to happen. It's so rare for that to happen. And so, you got to understand, looking at the expectation numbers and betting on what's expected is usually the right move. And again, take an approach like me. I talk about this many times during these streams, but my approach is always, I try not to predict what's going to happen. I try to react to what does in fact happen, and like that's usually the right move. I never try to make some big bold prediction that they're going to go wildly against expectations. Earnings are different. Earnings, you can bet on different things, but even with earnings, one thing is very obviously and self-evidently true with all of this, right? What that is that nobody knows the reaction we're going to get, even if you know what the outcome is going to be, even if you know what the rate hike is going to be or what the rate hike decision is going to be, even if you know what the earnings are going to be, even if you know earnings are going to come in high or come in low, you don't know how the stock is going to respond because a lot of the time the move is getting baked in prior to the earnings being released regardless of it. So, a stock might move down 10% and then, report bad earnings and not move down at all because it's already down 10% is what I mean. And so waiting for a company to have good earnings and just buying is probably not a good idea either. There's a little bit of a delayed response. Shopify reported earnings. Shopify is flying up. Let's go ahead and cover this. Shopify up to 56 right now. 56, hit 57s for a split second. Shopify making some moves. Let's figure out what it is. S&P Global Inc. ConocoPhillips. I'm guessing Shopify's out, right? All right, Shopify 1.7 billion rev, 1.7 billion for rev. They expected 1.67 billion, EPS of 55. They expected 14. Adjusted EPS of 24. They expected 14. Revenue beat expectations. So Shopify beat on both metrics. Flying up right now. I'm not really a big believer in Shopify though. Like I don't like Shopify as a stock. I don't trust it. I think the business model is too replicable in direct competition with Amazon, and I don't trust that. Everybody mad that Francis dropping Tyson Fury. He gets 23 seconds after getting knocked down. I see that making the rounds on Twitter right now. What they don't understand is that you get 10 seconds to stand up, and he stood up within 7. All right. Basically, you get 10 seconds to stand up, and that's exactly what he got. He got 10 seconds to stand up, not to restart the fight. They're not going to restart the fight in 10 seconds. They're seeing if you could stand up in 10 seconds. If you could stand up in 10 seconds, they started again. And I thought, listen, to be clear, I thought Francis won that fight. I'm glad he beat up Tyson Fury. I thought Francis won. I think it's good for MMA in general. But yeah, you get 10 seconds to stand up, not 10 seconds to start the fight. If it was 10 seconds to start the fight, Floyd Mayweather would probably already have a loss. Anyways, Palantir still ripping up. Tap $17 a share here, team. $17 a share. Again, and rightfully so. Raising guidance, better than expected EPS, better than expected revenue. Updated and raised fiscal year guidance, fourth quarter guidance for Palantir. Overall, pretty good stuff. think Palantir is about to enter a new era? Maybe. They might. They sort of did jolt the market, just not the way people expected. They completely flipped the language on jobs. Yeah. Yeah, John, those type of people never admit they're wrong. Most of the time it's wasting breath. Yeah, for sure. Again, that's something I honestly genuinely teach my kids. Like, that's a lesson I teach my kids because it's something my dad taught me, right? Like, you have to admit you're wrong. And the best ammo you can have when you're debating people is your ability to say, hey, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, that basically is like, you can't say anything else if somebody says that. And it also, in order to ever have credibility, you got to be able to admit you're wrong. You know, if you can't ever admit you're wrong and you just kind of get all bitter and weird and upset, you know, I'm not going to say it's a narcissistic trait, but it can be. Definitely top 3 most wrong traders in the world right now, for sure. What I want my kids to do is I want my kids to be able to admit they're wrong and have empathy. Those 2 things will eliminate a lot of things that you're, you know, personality disorder, stuff like that you're worried about. And narcissism gets thrown out a lot. Everybody's like, oh, my ex was narcissistic. Maybe you just got treated bad, you know? Maybe some of them are. But, like, people throw that narcissistic word around a lot. I don't agree with that either. But, again, what I teach my kids, have empathy, admit you're wrong. You know, those 2 things, if they can do those 2 things, they'll be all right. Anyways, Palantir at 1680s, Shopify at 56. Gold still pulling back. Gold's had a pretty good run too. We're at 1995. How soon before the Q hits 370? PayPal up to 55 still. Again, Q up to 360. I don't know when it's going to hit 370. It just depends. We got a lot of economic reports, data, earnings coming out over the next 2 days. Today we got Aapl earnings. We've got jobless claims at 8:30. And so Aapl earnings, jobless claims at 8:30. And then we just had Palantir earnings, Shopify earnings, a bunch of other ones. Starbucks reported. Starbucks beat, it looks like, on both metrics. I saw it earlier. I just didn't report it because it came out a little early relative to what I dropped. Uber confirms it settled its New York AG, and the settlement helps put the rest of the classification issue in the state. All right, so Starbucks says that the fall season launch led to record-breaking average weekly sales for Starbucks. Starbucks up to almost $100 a share now. Coors dropped earnings as well. I'm gonna look something up. Yeah, so tomorrow. Yeah, so for tomorrow, guys. Today we got jobless claims, Bank of England interest rate decision in about 34 minutes or so, 34 minutes. And then Aapl earnings this evening, which of course we're gonna stream. And then tomorrow, the big boys come out. We got non-farm payrolls, unemployment numbers as well tomorrow. S&P Composite and Services PMI. A big gang of data releases tomorrow, to be honest. A lot of stuff happening. You know, a lot of stuff happening. So there's Starbucks. Again, Nvidia had one of the biggest comebacks all the way back up to 430. Huge free fall ahead, dump time, bear market. Well, maybe. Doesn't look like it now, but maybe. Again, we got jobless claims in what, 45 minutes? No, we got jobless claims in an hour. Okay, gotcha. 1 hour. Let's get ready here. All right, guys. Jobless claims. Jobless claims. All right, so yeah, so jobless claims is how many people are filing for unemployment. And tomorrow we got the actual unemployment numbers. All right, guys. And again, let me know what you guys think. Apple earnings this evening, too. Where's Tesla at? I haven't really looked at Tesla much. Tesla all the way back up to 212. You love to see it. You love to see it. Still fighting back. Amazon doesn't know how to stop. Yeah, Amazon's looking great, almost up to 140s too. Don't think the all-time high is going to happen. I mean, maybe. I mean, the all-time high is eventually going to happen if we're talking about the SPY or the Q or whatever it is, right? Just when is a different story. Somebody said, disturbed to find out that the fastest growing software company I've seen communicates exclusively through a single iMessage thread, all voice memos, no meetings, no Slack, 50-person team, outpacing every benchmark I've seen. Honestly, it makes sense. It keeps it centralized to one specific spot, like one specific spot. It makes sense, I think. When I work, a lot of the time I go through like messaging apps. I never talk to anybody, conference anybody. I always just kind of message everything I need from them. And obviously I'm a much, much, much smaller scale, but still. All right, so HSBC has launched a platform that uses distributed ledger technology to tokenize ownership of physical gold held in its London vault, according to Bloomberg. See, these are the type of dummies, bro. Like, how can you not see this, man? Like, okay, so I'm looking back on this old post by Scott Galloway, and he says, and this is from May 1st, 2015, right? And this is something, if you guys know me, I have been very, very outspoken about the fall of brick and mortar retail, and about how a lot of it is obsolete. Mail order has become way too efficient to ever need to go to the store anymore. That came across as really Canadian sounding. Anyways, but yeah, so if you guys know me, I've been very outspoken about brick and mortar retail becoming obsolete. It's obvious. It's a very obvious thing. You see it with Bed Bath & Beyond. You see it with GameStop. You see it with all these different companies, right? We got this dude, Scott Galloway, back in 2015 saying the future of retail looks like Macy's, not Amazon. He said Macy's will be the most successful retailer of the next 5 years, not Amazon, end quote. Scott Galloway. Right. Honestly, I remember people arguing with me about this. This has been split a bunch, I think. But like, here's 2015. Let's get ahead and get a picture of this here. You know, here's 2015. And then that's what happened afterwards. So, but again, it's one of those things. If you don't see this nuance, then you're probably not paying attention. You know. So, but yeah, I don't understand why people take these contrarian posts. Like, I get it, but again, it's so obvious, I think. Amazon's still churning up though. Macy's, I don't know, man. You know, JCPenney, you see it go bye-bye. You see a lot of these stores go away. Again, maybe we'll have a small resurgence in people who want to go shopping through brick and mortar means, but it's not going to be enough to save the business model. How about the Rangers, guys? Shout out to the Rangers, man. Texas Rangers. How about Corey Seager? Garcia, even though he's injured yesterday, but still doing. He doesn't look injured, bro. He looks. Adolis Garcia's swole, man. That dude just stacked. All right. Is Bitcoin back over 25 or 35K? I'm going to time her up. Yeah, Bitcoin I didn't even see how high Bitcoin went this morning, man. Bitcoin hit almost 37,000 this morning. That's crazy. Bitcoin ramping up. There's AMC. Yeah, we got about, 53 and a half minutes? We'll call it 53. 53 minutes until jobless claims numbers come out. We'll put the SPY up since we got Palantir on the right. Here's the SPY. SPY's still looking strong. Up to 425's back. What do you do on your free time? What's free time, bro? I don't even have free time, dude. I wish I had free time. Yeah, I mean, I'm married. I have kids. My son's been having some school struggles because of ADHD. Yeah, bro, I don't have any free time. I mean, I have free time. Like I do, I train a lot of Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You know, I'm a white belt, but like that's been my latest, passion or hobby, I guess you can call it. It's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. I'm a very competitive person, and so it's really fun to choke people. But yeah, that's one thing. I program a little bit. We do a little bit of programming. I build some software, talk about stocks, cover all the earnings plays, visit with my wife and family, play a little bit of video games. I've been playing the new UFC 5. I don't know how much I like it. The new UFC 5 seems like a slightly better version of UFC 4. I'm not really super impressed. Honestly, I remember the old Undisputed UFC 3 Undisputed days. That was the best UFC game they've ever had, man. Shannon Sharp paid $10,000 for a Pomeranian, bro. 10K? Dude. Somebody made some money off of him. PayPal's still pushing up. Over 55 now. Over 55. Had a good day. Earnings good. Do you like Rogan? I wouldn't say I like him. I'm pretty neutral on him. I agree and disagree with him in a lot of ways. It depends on his stance on different things. I blame Beef Friday sales and people getting hurt bad over the craziness to get a deal. Yeah, I mean, I think people just stay home a lot of the time now. Yeah, commercial real estate's really struggling. Job market is strong. I was at local communities had college advisory committee meeting this week, and hundreds of employers. There were all concerns labor force. Keep up. Yeah, I mean, they know the job market's strong. Apple might not take the market even with missed earnings. Most investors know that the company has plateaued. Yeah, I mean, I think it could be great or terrible, and we'll wait and see. Call of Duty Warzone is the best game ever. Boo. No, it's not. Of course it's not. Warzone is cool and all, but like, it's so diluted in terms of Call of Duty games. I haven't played them in years. Chart Prime is a sponsor of mine, Earl, but they're really nice. I like them a lot, but it's subjective. I can't guarantee you're going to make money. Nobody can, of course. I can't guarantee you're going to win or anything like that. But I think when you look at Chart Prime, they can just be powerful, man. Like when you look at them, again, I think what a lot of people miss with stuff like this, like with these type of premium indicators, is that you got to back test it yourself, right? You got to back test it yourself. And you have to be patient with a lot of these too. But again, my big edge is I've showed you this many times, is when you get a bearish engulfing candle and a reversal signal right on top of each other. You get them right on top of each other on a 5-minute chart. It has to be a 5-minute chart. Accuracy is pretty solid in my opinion. You know, also check Bitcoin. I was looking at Bitcoin today with pretty surprising results on Bitcoin from my understanding. Like Bitcoin seemed to work pretty well on Bitcoin when I was looking at it this morning. Although I've never actually tried it. But again, you can kind of see the same thing on Bitcoin right here. You know, again, you get an engulfing candle and a reversal signal literally right on top of each other like this, and then beautiful bounce. So, I mean, hey, not bad. And if you want to check it out, link is in the description. Again, I like them a lot. There's so much. Again, you got to understand, I most of the time just show you one thing, which is the Market Oracle. The Market Oracle Pro might work a little bit better. I've never actually tested it on crypto, but everybody's different. It's subjective. Everybody's going to like different things and dislike different things. But I love it. Again, they're a sponsor of mine. Again, I'm going to always be transparent. And so I'm biased, of course. But prior to them, I wasn't really about software companies. Indicator companies, you know, and I had a lot of them try to reach out to me and sponsor me. It wasn't until I actually looked at Chart Prime stuff that I became interested in them. Once they actually showed me their indicators, I was like, okay, you know, this actually works. So, yeah, I mean, right today, the spreads are probably pretty good just because there's so much liquidity today from it ripping up to 36,500. PayPal's still bouncing, still moving. Again, we're up about 630 in equities today. So it's a pretty good day for me. Here's my P&L in the day, 630, 632 or so. Yesterday, we had a pretty good day trading off of Chart Prime and some other stuff too. You know, you can kind of see where we made $700 or so yesterday, 4.5 to 1 win-loss ratio. All right, guys. Hey, hit the like button. We need 13 likes. Will Palantir hit 1780s today? I don't know. It could. All right, so we're going to do another poll for jobless claims today. Another jobless claims poll. Jobless claims come in higher or lower than what's expected for jobless claims numbers. What's expected today for jobless claims numbers is, we got the Bank of England rate decision, 210,000 is what's expected, 210. Higher, lower, as expected is going to be the poll. Again, Palantir looking solid. Do y'all like this 3-chart setup? Apple earnings today. We're going to stream the full Apple earnings live like we always do. So stick around because we're going to cover that too when it happens. I'm buying oil. Good luck, Zach. All right, team. How you doing? Oh. All right, team. Again, let me know what you guys think. Vote on the new poll. We got the new poll live about jobless claims. Hey, what are 1 month Treasury bills paying right now, percentage wise? I think it was like 5 or something, but I know the inverted curve happened. But let me know what are 1 month Treasury bills paying right now. Let me know in chat, and let me know if you have a symbol that I can look up as well. Yeah. So again, what? So 5.42% is what 30-day Treasury bills are paying right now. 5.42. Love you. All right. So short-term bonds are paying more than long-term bonds. I mean, still. So is the yield curve still inverted? Let me see. The yield curve graph. One month pays 5.4%. All right, so 5.4% divided by 12 months means about 0.5% a month. So if you give them 20K, or no, sorry, math is wrong. No, that's still wrong. It'd be $84. I forgot a zero. It's early. Forgive me. Yeah, so you're gonna make $84 if you loan them $20,000. I guess it's something, you know. And so if you got 20K sitting around for a month, you can make about $84. But still. BIL is the ETF for 1 to 3 month Treasury bills. Yeah, but where do I see the percentage here? It's at 91.40s, and I know that's not the percentage. Fed about to flood the market with more bonds that ain't selling, and a simple supply demanding economy, then the Fed would go bankrupt with that. Maybe 5.5%. Again, Palantir pushing up. Again, SPY pushing up. We got gold here still sitting under 2K. Yeah, I love to see it. I mean, I'm happy for the market. I hope it keeps pushing. Again, my portfolio is looking pretty solid today too. You know, Google stock went from like really red to right back up where it was. You know, not right back up to where it was, but still pretty close. I mean, it's almost up to 130. That's what I always tell people, like when stocks crash, especially if they're blue chip healthy companies, I think people have to understand, like, the people who lose the most are people who get emotional and sell quickly. I think the bigger thing is that jobless claims Likely won't move the market as much based on JPAL yesterday and his changes in language. Employment going to be less important. Maybe. Jobless claims recently hasn't really had like a super big influence. I mean, it might have some. Somebody said Python is the worst language to start with. I agree. I absolutely agree. When I first got started, I learned Python, right? And so for my devs out there, you know, it's pretty common, like newbie logic and coding, right? You learn Python, like the syntax, which is basically like the vocabulary, the grammar of that programming language. And Python, which is like an AI programming language, is what they use for like automation and AI and a lot of different things, to be honest. The syntax or the language, the grammar or vocabulary is very literal, right? So it's very literal language. So and in that regard, the how literal it is less strict versus something else. Now, in the beginning, I thought learning an easier language like that, like an easier, more literal language, was the right move. But what you realize is that like it's actually probably better in the beginning to challenge yourself and learn something that's more strict, so you understand the rigidity of coding, right? You have to understand how rigid coding is, and when you learn something that literal and easy, it just makes you develop bad habits in the beginning. I think it's better to learn something with more less forgiving syntax than Python, so that way, you know, you start with something difficult, and then after that, it's a piece of cake. Not a piece of cake, but like it's easier to grow and evolve, if that makes sense. You know, we had this really big pity stock guru, I'm not going to say who it was, that was basically pushing for a stock market crash and said that market was going to crash last week and this week. Now the market's pushing up, and he's just kind of changing the subject. You know? Again, I see it all the time. Like so many people predicting crashes. And again, maybe we do crash. I don't know. Again, we're not there yet. Again, I told people this. People were trying to be like, aha, you know, with me the other day. And I've been very consistent. You know, people get weird because people are wrong and they hate to admit they're wrong and they get emotional about it, right? But I've been very consistent with what I say. It didn't look good. Obviously, it never does when we're dropping that much. But we've been in the same freaking trend for a long time now. A long time. You know, we've been in the same trend for a long time. We're moving up. That's the trend. That's the last 52 weeks. This is the past year of price action. We've been basically moving up. We're very green on the year still. Again, we opened the year at 380s, 370s, you know, 390s. We're at 425s, almost 430 right now. So, you know, again, it doesn't mean the stock market is saved either. It just means that we're not looking as bleak as we were a week or two ago. But again, I said this yesterday during the FOMC meeting, and I'll keep saying it. Like, I see a lot of people try to make big, bold predictions. Like, they try to make these huge, big, bold predictions. And so everybody will just say, wow, you know, they thought that would happen when nobody else did. Wow, great job. The problem with that is that, you know, you got crazy radical crash predictors. The market's going to crash and burn. And then you got the market's just going to push up tomorrow and break highs, you know, and we're going to get rich. You know, the truth is somewhere in the middle. Like, the truth is genuinely somewhere in the middle most of the time. And from covering a lot of these economic reports, that's kind of what we get, is the truth somewhere in the middle. And so if there's anything you can learn, don't just bet on stock market crashes because you have put options. A lot of people are just holding short positions, and they want the market to fall. And so with confirmation bias, that's ultimately what happens. And again, maybe we do fall. I'm not saying we don't. I'm basically just saying don't predict it every day. Yeah. Again, I'm not going to say names, but you guys know. Again, I just see it all the time. And again, okay, I'm going to clarify this. The fact that somebody's trying to act like penny stock patterns are more consistent than like the S&P 500 is such a crazy thing. It's such a like ridiculous thing that you guys should know better. You guys should know better. Tell me what's more consistent pattern-wise, right? finding a brand new stock to trade every single day with that needs essentially perfect liquidity, perfect volume, a perfect catalyst to rip up and move big percentages, and having to find a new one every single day that most of the time has a new float, has a different market cap, has completely different specs than the one that happened yesterday, and trading the same strategy on both of those things in penny stocks, or trading the one symbol every day and learning how it moves, right? Which one's better? Again, it's subjective to a certain extent, but anybody pushing that penny stock patterns are somehow more reliable than the S&P 500, and then using that to justify selling a crappy course on publicly available content is absolutely ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous. And again, they mostly are predatory towards new traders that don't know any better. And so be smart. Don't be dumb. I was dumb when I first got started. And so I never actually paid for the course, but I watched it. My prediction is that the SPY will hit 500 before the end of the year. Nobody listens. Nobody listens. I mean, hey, maybe you're right, bro. It's incredibly unlikely, but maybe you're right. SPY ain't hitting 500. You got to be trolling me out at this point. Hey, what's up, Guts? Oh, I'm making content out of it, Just Joe. That's what you see me guys do a lot of the time. A lot of the time people think I'm mad or they think I'm all these other things. Most of the time I'm just making content out of whatever the drama is. And the drama gets more clicks. And so I'm not saying I embrace it and troll, but I definitely embrace it and troll. Again, we'll see if PayPal holds. SPY at 425s. I trade SPY options every day for the past 5 years. I mean, it just makes more sense, right? Do you want to learn the same thing every day, the same symbol every day? You can learn how it moves, understand the patterns, understand what strategies work and don't work. Or you want to find a new one every day that's got a low float, crazy manipulatable, can get halted in a heartbeat and get diluted and drop 50% plus, get delisted and go to pink sheets and you lose everything you invest on it. And then even if it doesn't, you're trying to find basically a new symbol every day with a completely different flow, completely different trade tendencies or movement tendencies, all that stuff. It just seems like a terrible low edge thing to do. You know what I mean? Most of the people that make money in penny stocks are actually just pumping up the stocks and then covering. They're pumping up low float stocks. They're front loading into them beforehand, pumping them up, selling on all their followers and getting rich doing that. Even CEOs do that a lot of the time in penny stocks, and that's why you got to just be really, really careful. I don't trade them at all. Hey, thank you, Raphael. Yeah, okay. I thought you were trolling me. It's all good. I was going to say 500 is so unlikely this year. I mean, it could happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen because you better believe if it does, everybody's going to clip this and make fun of me never-endingly, and that's okay. Definitely top 3 made fun of trader in the world, but yeah, man, $500. Number one, outside of it being like well over the lifetime highs of the SPY right now, which is 480 roughly. I mean, I hope it happens. I really do hope it happens. It's possible. If we get a good run, a lot of the time we have what's called a Santa rally, and so if we get a good run, it's possible. It's just pretty unlikely still, and I hope it happens, but. Trade says AMC to 100K. The hedgies, the suits, they're just picking on us traders, The AMC community make you feel all warm and fuzzy about a wildly depreciating asset, because you know something they don't know, they say. According to Redditors, AMC is going to go up to 100,000, guys. You're going to get rich. It's definitely not like the Wolf of Wall Street where they promised riches and said that they were selling to garbage men. It's definitely not like that at all, guys. Be smart. Did you make good money on AMD yesterday? Not on AMD. I made some money yesterday, but it wasn't on AMD. Yeah, this is my futures trading yesterday. We made like 7, but If GDP is 6% plus a seasonality, we can easily get 5,000. Oh yeah, on the S&P you're meaning. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's possible. I saw some adjustments to the GDP data though. Airbnb did drop their numbers too. All right, so we got some earnings drop. Again, mostly green earnings today. Very green gang of earnings today, team. We got some red, but mostly green. We got Shell releasing earnings. I didn't even realize. All right, so again, we got Palantir, Shopify. All right, so we got Palantir, Shopify, Lilly, Crocs. How did Crocs do? In gaming reported those. Peloton. I didn't even notice Peloton, man. Was I right about Peloton though? Or I mean, I have to look at it. I haven't looked at it in a while. All right, team. So still watching the SPY. Still watching Palantir here. Palantir's earnings call starting right now, I think. It's 7:02. All right, there we go. Covered a lot of these earnings on our stream. Again, we got jobless claims numbers dropping in 30 minutes. There's no worse feeling than getting out of Tesla and pre-marketing. It goes up another $2. $2 for Tesla is really not that much. Hey, what's up, Kay? What's up, Beach? Thanks, Beach. Y'all check out Beach Bub's channel. He's got some great swing trading content. So go check out his channel. Every 10 points pull-ups are getting immediate. Fastly running on good earnings. PayPal is ripping now on earnings. Palantir dipping down a little bit. Airbnb starting to move up too. PayPal is ripping. Looks good. If we close this week above 4,200, bull market back in play. I don't know. I think it's too early to tell, especially a level close to us like that. I think only time will tell whether we're back in the bull market or not. Damn, I just noticed I had 500 shares of Palantir at 640s, December 22. One of my other accounts. Hey, congrats. That's great. I mean, I would wait for the year. It depends on how much taxes you're paying. I would calculate that and then use that to influence whether you decide. Yeah, Bank of England interest rate decision just dropped. So the Bank of England posted, let's see what they said. Bank of England leaves rate unchanged at 5.25% and 6.3 vote. I do like what the Bank of England does, which is they tell us like the voting numbers. The U.S. doesn't necessarily do that. So like the U.S. doesn't actually correct the voting numbers, which is weird, you know. All right, team. My nose has stopped up. PayPal doing well because they recently made big commitments to crypto. Yeah, crypto has been moving up a lot too. Airbnb's starting to bounce back. Yeah, futures are nice because you can day trade short, all that good stuff, and there's no PDT rule. Get Aapl earnings today. Should be pretty big. Market is relentless. Yeah, so Palantir pulling back a little bit. I could put Tesla up on the bottom screen here. Tesla just ripping up to 213s almost right now. PayPal up to 5540s. 5540s. Finally moved back, 500-point rally from the low with no pullback. I'm about to say we don't pull back. I mean, we certainly could. I'm just saying we'll see. Again, we got plus 20 minutes. These are exhaustive moves right before the open. These are the night. Run it up to rip it back down. Careful. Yeah, but again, like the problem is that you got so many people pushing for a crash that are just going to be kind of like get their egos in the way. You know what I mean? Again, Shopify had great numbers. Spy still popping up. Again, the question is, what does Aapl do? That's the real question. That's going to have the biggest influence over everything is what Aapl does right now. Aapl earnings drop this evening. We are going to stream the entire thing live, as we always do, to finish out this week's of earnings. And then again, tomorrow we got... I forgot what we have tomorrow. I'll have to check. But tomorrow, look at the SPY rip up. It's at 425.60s. Oh, tomorrow we got Fubo, Cinemark, Cibo, Icon Enterprises, IEP. What has IEP done? I remember that one had the Hindenburg report and then just crashed. Dang, dude, that Hindenburg report basically destroyed this company. That's crazy, dude. I never realized how big IEP tanked on that Hindenburg report. So again, they had that short report come out. It was at like $52 a share. Since then, it's basically nothing. It's at $16 a share. You wonder if the company themselves sold shares. Most of the time, those Hindenburg reports will, they'll influence it, but they don't destroy it. This one basically destroyed it. Tesla breaking highs again here. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. Do you guys like this 3-chart setup that I have on screen where I've got like the main one that I'm looking at on the right currently, as well as like some other stuff that you can see 3 different charts? I think I like the look of it. All right, guys, SPY at 426s. All right, guys, 18 minutes for jobless claims numbers. I had NVIDIA 435 call last night, took $25 win. Never thought it would rip up that much overnight. Yeah, NVIDIA, man, just having a great time. At 430s right now, looking solid. It's all good, man. That happens. Whatever happened to Roblox? I mean, I was in Roblox. Did it ever do anything? Yep, still sitting at 32. So I was right about the direction. Again, this is a prime example of why I hate options. All right, it's getting hot in here. So hot. All right. All right, guys. So, similar setup with NASDAQ, Tesla, Amazon, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Google, Meta. It works great for trading NASDAQ. Entering now, TQQ is worth it. No pullback in sight. Yeah, but nobody knows whether we're going to pull back or not. You know what I mean? Like, again, I'm gonna say this and try to think about what I'm about to say. Again, I have no reason to lie to you guys, just to lie to you. I'm trying to let people realize, like, again, I have a very unique perspective. Like I run a YouTube community. Like we generally get thousands and thousands of views a day, right? In the last 48 hours, right? In the last 48 hours, my channel has gotten 37, almost 40,000 views in the last 48 hours. So we're averaging about 20,000 hits a day, right? I have a very unique perspective of people's bias, people's sentiments, and how people would generally behave in the markets, right? And one thing I see all the time is people trying to be very definitive about short-term predictions. And like what you see a lot, is you see people make these big, crazy, bold predictions. And that's not what you're doing, and anybody in chat. I'm not targeting anybody here. I'm just trying to help people, to be honest. I'm trying to make people understand what not to do. I see people make these big, bold predictions. They say, the market's going to crash, tomorrow. They say, this is going to happen. The market's going to end up breaking highs tomorrow and all this crazy stuff. And then when that doesn't happen, usually they either create another account or they just kind of, you hear crickets. You don't really hear anything else. And so short-term predictions are incredibly difficult. They're essentially a coin flip. Nobody really knows what the market's going to do today or tomorrow or anything else. We can bet on extension and purely extension and maybe some other technicals, but in the end, nobody knows. And again, the people who are the most definitive with their predictions, the people who are like, no, this is going to happen, are usually the most wrong. Ironically enough, so again, be smart, understand short-term is very difficult to predict. Try to get into a reactionary mindset. Like a reactive mindset makes the most sense to me. Because again, you can react to what happens instead of trying to predict it. I'll tell you this, we certainly could pull back. Like the market's very capable of pulling back here. It's up a lot. We have Aapl earnings today. Aapl earnings can wildly influence everything. It's Aapl, to put it into perspective, is the most heavily weighted stock in markets. It's the most heavily weighted stock. It's the largest weighted stock in markets. All right. And again, with that in mind, Aapl numbers can help the market or hurt the market. The other thing to understand, I just try to be honest. Like nobody knows. I'll cry about it, KC. Respect the trend. Just go long like the market blasting. I'm calling 1% down on repetition. Yeah, appreciate the love, guys. Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm just trying to help people. And people need to understand it. That, like, nobody knows. And so making big, bold predictions. Again, try to react to what happens. That's something that you can do, is just to react to what happens. PayPal at 55, so we'll see if it moves up. But in the end, when I first got started trading, I always traded high of the day breakouts. Like a stock would break highs, and I would buy it, and I would just get owned. The stock would just tank, destroy my account. Right, I would just get destroyed short term because I was buying high of the day breakouts. As I gained market experience, I started to realize that I'm literally buying at the very top of the range. Like when stocks are breaking highs, they're generally like around the high of the range, depending on which range you're looking at. And so what I did was, instead of starting to buy high of the day breakouts and chasing that push, I started buying pullbacks instead. And my accuracy went up dramatically from that, because again, you got to understand, like when stocks are pushing up like this, generally experienced traders are taking profit. When stocks are pushing down, testing lows, generally experienced traders are covering their shorts or they're starting to buy. And so chasing these big moves is risky as well. I guarantee the market will go up or down. What about sideways? It's also possible to go sideways. What about up then down, or down then up? I'm using TD Ameritrade. Sayman saying he got funded off my recommendation for Top Step. Hey, I'm happy for you if you did. I think he said this yesterday, though. But the average cost of rent was almost 2/3 of the median New York City household income in the third quarter, according to Bloomberg. Bittrex, man. I'm surprised Bittrex went bankrupt. I like Bittrex too. All right, team. Hey, jobless claims, unemployment numbers dropping in about 10 minutes, a little bit over 10. I think we are in a straight line for 4 days. There will be a pullback at some point. Maybe. My brain telling me to go long here, so a pullback is imminent. I think every trader's had that thought process where they're like, hey, I'm losing so much. Why don't I just do the opposite? If I think I should buy, I should click sell. If I think I should sell, I should click buy and see if that works. And that's honestly where the pullback situation, like that's where I started making money, is because instead of buying high of the days, I waited for pullbacks and then I bought those instead. And that ended up giving me much better accuracy than kind of blindly. I think new traders get into this limbo, and I say this a bunch, but it's important for new traders to hear it. New traders get in this limbo where they find one strategy and they just kind of keep attacking that one strategy over and over. They push with one strategy. They get really stubborn. And I think it's really important that you make sure you have a strategy with edge before you just lash onto one. because a lot of new traders will latch on to like high of the day breakouts, and there's a lot of video content about high of the day breakouts. I don't find them particularly effective, but it is subjective, I guess, and maybe traders can trade it differently. I don't necessarily like high of the day or low of the day breakouts. I might buy like a pullback into it. So if we move up to test highs and then we pull back a little bit like this, I might buy that dip and look to ride it back up to test the top, if that makes sense. Or on the downside, I might do something like if we start to test lows, say this is the low of the day and we move back up, I might short this here and then cover a piece of it around that low and attack the bottom range like that. That's something I do a lot, but I very rarely, if ever, buy it trying to get this type of move, because it's just so rare that it works. And again, a lot of experienced traders are instead taking profit at these levels and it's coming back down. You know what I mean? So I think you got to think about the range of things first. 8:30 might be important. We'll see. We still got over 10 minutes left. We'll see. It's been a busy week with Powell, Aapl, earnings, economic reports. Tomorrow we got a bunch of stuff too, so we'll see. Weird people in chat where it's like if they disagree with you about one thing 3 days ago, they just kind of sit around looking to just disagree. It's just kind of like, man, find something else to do, man. People get so weird and emotional, I guess is the easiest way to put it. Ego just floats around out there. I definitely got the top 3 largest ego in the world right now for sure. Most humble also. What about gold, guys? Where do y'all think gold is going to end the year? Gold's still sitting at 1995s. Tesla pulling back down. Palantir still moving up a little bit here. I forgot we got an Aapl earnings, which is a big one today for sure. Aapl earnings are huge. Moderna's still tanking. Yeah, Moderna had one of the biggest misses all earnings season. They came in like 4x worse than expected for EPS. So just much worse than expected, surprisingly worse than expected for Moderna. If jobless claims is higher than expected, we'll see a big green movement today. Yeah, I think so as well. I think higher jobless claims is going to cause a positive reaction because, again, I think the Fed wants less people working and the market ultimately wants less people working. And so I think jobless claims coming in high, more people claiming to be without work, more people ultimately filing for unemployment is going to cause positive effects in markets. Gold will never fail. Yeah, I don't think gold will fail. Where do you think gold will be at the end of the year, though, is a different story. 14,940 target. Start locking in those gains. Higher unemployment will also have an impact on auto loan delinquency. Yeah, for sure. And the auto industry is in a huge bubble right now. Speaking of gold, it's moving up a little bit ahead of this report. So out of all the people streaming jobless claims, I'm at the top. Thank you guys so much for helping me get there. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. And again, Palantir still sitting at 17. We're going to put the Q up instead while we're waiting for this report to drop. Here's the Q. Q up to 360s. Again, we've been so for lack of a better word, diluted with economic reports this week. But we're going to throw it in sub-only mode. So everybody announce yourself. Show us your sub. We appreciate the love. Thanks so much. You top one, John. Hey, thank you, Jan. Stock has to go up 7% in a year to compensate. I would rather have cash sitting for 5% interest in bonds. But Powell's speech already threw rate increase away, so market will blast any numbers we have. Yeah, I mean, we were going to skip, though. That was pretty likely. Yeah, Moderna, big miss. Hey, what's up, Michael, Jan, Yair, Fly? Hey, thanks so much. PayPal's still trying to hold. Top YouTuber, no doubt. Hey, thanks so much. Hey, what's up, Nicole, Ricky, V? All right, team. Hey, we got 5 minutes. I see so many people in here talking about the benefits of sobriety. Reading Penny Lane Blaine on Twitter. Among the many benefits, would you say that trading better, more effectively, less emotional is one of them? I think it depends. I think alcohol sobriety is incredibly important. I think alcohol is one of the nastiest substances you can be addicted to. And again, I'm not talking about like drinking a few beers with your buddies and like watching a football game. I'm talking about the people who drink every day, multiple times a day. Sometimes, a lot of the time, they get sick if they try to stop. That's a nasty addiction, and I think that certainly can have a pretty bad impact on your trading and everything in your life, for sure. Because at a certain point, if you don't get inebriated, you're sick, and that's a terrible thing. Sounds like. I was never a big drinker, though, so maybe my bias against it. But all right, team, here we go. We got 4 minutes left. 4 minutes left. So the newest iMac 16-inch maxed out M3 goes for $7,200. That's crazy. $7,200. All right, guys. Hey, we got 3.5 minutes. Also, all your setups look good drunk. What about cannabis? Anybody trade? I think cannabis, I don't think you should ever trade on it for sure, but it's much less harmful, And of course, like people who drink are going to say it's not, but it is. It's objectively less harmful. It doesn't cause a huge physical dependence. And so if you stop taking it, you're not going to get like brutally sick. The inebriation level for cannabis is much lower than alcohol. Driving, there's a lot of arguments that show cannabis is far less toxic than alcohol is, without question, for both the human body as well as like inebriation levels. Yeah, thank you, Anthony. Love your instant report announcements. Thanks for not shooting a horn in our ear every 10 seconds. Hey, all good. Hey, we got 2.5 minutes, team. 2.5 minutes. Let's go. Jobless claims numbers coming out. My buddy spent $2,000 on NVIDIA chips to play games. I mean, I'm not mad at that. If you want to spend your money on whatever you want to spend it, I'm okay. Yeah, Q at 361s right now, 361s. All right, guys, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. We are in sub-only mode, so slap that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. SPY, pull it back a little bit. The whole market's kind of waiting on Apple earnings right now, though, to be honest. Like, the whole market's kind of waiting for Apple earnings. All right, guys, a minute and a half, team. Pulling back a little bit. Trying to hold at 361s on the Q right now. SPY at 425.60s. Tesla at 213s here. Again, 1 minute left, guys. 1 minute left. Again, unemployment numbers today, or jobless claims are basically how many people are filing for unemployment. So jobless claims are how many people are filing for unemployment. Expectations for that are for 210,000 is what they're expecting right now, guys. 210,000. We'll get the timer out the way. Again, 40 seconds left. 40 seconds. Apple earnings are this evening. All right, team, 20 seconds. We got about 700 here, so slap the subscribe button, hit the like button as well. All right, here we go, 15 seconds. All right, here we go, guys. Jobless claims numbers dropping right now. 210,000 is what's expected. There's the release. 217,000 is what we came in, much higher than expected. This should honestly help the market right now. 217,000 is what jobless claim in, a full 7,000 over expected. So 7,000 more claims than expected for unemployment is what this means. And again, I think this will affect the market positively because of inflation implications. Again, markets shooting up at 426.30s. 426.30s. Q at 362. Tesla at 213.30s. So again, markets moving up. Non-farm productivity came in at 4.7% quarter over quarter, higher than expected. Again, Q at 362s. Tesla still popping up. Let's look at the dollar index. I'm sure it's pushing down. Gold moving up a little bit as well. Dollar index falling here. Good. Yeah, we're up really nice today, too. We're up like 750 on the day. We'd love to see it. Google, we're technically green on now on our Google trade that we've been sitting in for a while. Tesla nicely green today, too, man. Tesla's been shooting up. Square pushing up, too. All right, so again, Q ripping up a lot. Tech following the market up a little bit more than other stuff. So again, we're going to put the number up on screen. 217,000 is what it came in at. 217,000 versus 210 expected. Productivity came in at 4.7%. We'll put this up on screen. Why is more better? Because more people filing for unemployment means less people working. Less people working means less people spending. Less people spending means businesses lower prices, and thus it combats inflation. At least that's the logic of the market right now. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's kind of what happens is this, right? Like, again, I'm not saying I agree with it, but lately, when the market's truly fearing inflation, higher jobless claims numbers are seen as a positive. And this is a weekly report, right? But again, when the market is truly fearing inflation, higher than expected number here is generally seen as positive. That's why as soon as I saw 217, I said, hey, the market will probably push up. And in that we did. It doesn't mean we're actually going to hold this. So it doesn't mean we're going to hold these numbers. But again, we are pushing up some. So again, Apple earnings are the last little piece of the puzzle today. And again, we'll see how that looks. And again, if you haven't already, check out TopStep. TopStep is a funded program for futures. So if you want to day trade, the futures market, try out TopStep. They'll give you a demo and they'll test your skill. And it's basically a lot like day trading stocks, but there's no PDT rule. So you can day trade short, buy market, buy bid, sell the ask, just like stocks, but there's no PDT rule. You can basically day trade the Q. You can basically day trade the SPY. So here's the NASDAQ. You can see it's the same exact price action, and this is the futures market, right? So it's the same exact price action as this. All right, so this is the same as this. You can see big move up, a couple red candles, big move up, a couple red candles. Again, but on this left side, I can day trade with no PDT rule in futures. And Top Step is the most legit funded program. It's a great way to get started with less risk. What they do is they give you a demo. They test your skill. The base one's $49. They give you a 50K demo. If you can hit 3K in profit without losing over 2K, so a very reasonable 2 to 3 ratio, and following their rules, they fund you 50K with a 90% split. You take that 50K, you make 10K. Once you're funded, you get to keep 9 of that since they're funding you the money. And you get to keep your first 10,000 in profit, actually. And again, this is a great way to learn how to trade with less risk. If you lose, you're only out $49. If you're good enough to actually pass it, again, you can get funded, roll up from a very small amount of money, $49, and potentially make a lot more. Again, great way to learn. Just taking the challenge builds your skill. And to be fair, I think most people lose because most day traders lose. It doesn't matter whether they're day trading on Top Step or they're day trading stocks. Most day traders lose money. But this is a great, cheap way to learn, and I think it's a great way to build skill and learn how to trade. If you want to check it out, they are a sponsor of mine. Here's the link. Great way to help support your boy here in this channel. Check it out. It's an interesting way to look at it. I mean, it is what it is. Like this is how the market has responded. This has been the market's reaction. I'm not even saying I agree with it, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's a one-time $149 fee. I think that's pretty reasonable, in all honesty. John, yesterday I asked you about SPY reaching 420. You said yes, it's got a good chance, and I went in and placed my options, and boom, thank you. I mean, I didn't say it was a good chance, and I know you're giving me a compliment and thanking me. I told you it could, and it did. You know what I mean? It did. It was certainly within reason to, but whether it will and whether it can or whether it will are completely different things. Again, I'm definitely biased in Top Step's favor. You can check out the link right there. You don't have to pay for data unless you want premium data. All right, guys. Less employment means we print more. The market is a reflection of Fed policy. Well, it's all correlated. Again, to put this into perspective, right? Like, I'll give you guys the understanding. Y'all want to know economics? We'll give you some base understanding of it. Yesterday's rate hike decision was important. Why was it important? Because when the Fed raises rates, they're doing so because inflation is out of control, right? The rate hike decision happens every 6 weeks. They can either cut, pause, or raise rates, right? If they raise rates, by raising rates, they're raising the federal funds rate, which in turn makes it more expensive for banks, right? And banks raise interest rates to consumers. And so by raising the federal funds rate, they're essentially raising interest rates, to consumers eventually. With that, consumers stop spending as much because interest rates are high, and they stop spending, and businesses then see that lack of spending and lower prices, thus combating inflation, right? Inflation is just high prices. So prices going down combats it, and by making interest rates more expensive and causing people to spend less and discourage spending, that causes inflation to get better. So with that in mind, periods of high inflation usually get aggressive rate hikes. And over the last year and a half, right, to give you some nuance of the market, over the last year and a half, we've had very aggressive rate hikes because inflation was really bad. Like a year and a quarter ago, inflation was almost at 9%. So just very high inflation, right? But rate hikes take time to hit. It's bad for banks because it makes banking more expensive, right? So the institutions that are the most affected by these rate hikes a lot of the time are banks, which is why, we've had really aggressive rate hikes over the last few years. And in March of this year, we had a bank disaster. We had a banking, crash, basically a regional bank run where a lot of regional banks failed. Again, partially blaming the rate hikes. They blame the rate hikes a lot of the time, right? But the other thing to understand is that these rate hikes that influence inflation or hopefully, discourage spending, they take at least a year to really have any effect on the economy. And so there's a lag. There's about a year lag at least before these rate hikes actually take effect. And so what a lot of people are worried about right now is that, a year ago, we were raising rates pretty aggressively, and we might start to see that now. We're going to both see it in good ways in combating to inflation, as we've kind of seen lately. We have seen inflation get better. That's objectively true. People can argue it's not, but again, when you look at gas prices, that's always the one that I tell. People can say whatever they want because a lot of the time people are just trying to make it seem like it's the worst ever, right? But when you look at gas prices specifically, a year and a half ago, gas prices were like $7, $8 a gallon. Maybe not $8, but they were like $6, $7 a gallon. Now they're like what, $2.50, $3 a gallon. So gas prices have dropped dramatically, and we have seen damage to inflation done. Is it going to be enough? We don't know. What we watch the Fed for is to gauge sentiment moving forward, potential guidance and understanding about what they might do this year and next. And again, this year, we've gotten mostly pauses. They've been very hesitant to raise rates again, but it doesn't mean they won't in the future, and ultimately time will tell. But that's basically what we're in right now. That's basically what's going on. You can see the Q rip it up on this jobless claims report. Market really likes it. I think the market likes it and is pushing up really heavily. But again, it doesn't mean it holds. We're up about 800 on stocks this morning. Again, we're red in some of these positions, but today we're up about 800 in our equities positions, about 783s or so. But that's an understanding of like rate hikes and what it does to the economy. Now, a lot of this is based on bond prices as well, because there's an inverse correlation between short-term, or there's a correlation between what the price of short-term and long-term bonds are in the curve and the yield and the inversion there, as well as there's a correlation between bonds in general and the S&P 500. Right, and equities markets, because they're competitive to each other in terms of trading vehicles. Bonds are safer, less risky assets with guaranteed returns that are much less with a lower yield. And the S&P and equities markets are much more risky assets with less guaranteed returns. But the yield is much higher on average, right? And so a lot of the time when markets fall, bond yields rise. And a lot of the time it's actually the bond yields are rising, and so markets are falling. And so you can watch bonds to see that influence as well. And bonds also is what influences, the banks raising interest rates to consumers as well, because they make a lot of bond purchases. And it's really nuanced, but that's the understanding of the economy and why all of this matters. Now, right now, we're in the middle of earnings season, and earnings season is an incredibly volatile time in markets. And today we have one of the biggest weighted stock in the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, which is Aapl, dropping their earnings this evening. And again, you hear some people say, hey, one stock is not going to affect the market. I'm here to tell you that is absolutely wrong. One stock will and does affect the market drastically, specifically Aapl. It's the number one weighted stock, which means that it makes up the largest percentage of these index funds like the S&P and the NASDAQ. And so if Aapl comes in really good today for earnings, it's very possible that the market rips up. If Aapl comes in really bad for earnings, it's very possible that the market, tech, all that stuff dips down. As well as heading into the holiday season, historically, we usually have something called what's called a Santa rally, which means that like stocks are ramping up in the holiday season. For maybe you can speculate on why. A lot of the time, it's because the holiday season has more sales and purchases being done. But at this point, that might not necessarily be a good thing because of inflation. And so that's basically the understanding if you want to know about the market. Yeah, but the time frame I'm referring to, Justin says incorrect on gas. The time frame I'm referring to is what we were when inflation was peaking in 2021, 2022, and where we are now as inflation settles down a little bit. Like, that's the nuance in the time frame that I'm looking at it under. That's the lens I'm looking at it under. I'm not saying we are higher than where we were 4 years ago, but at the same time, that's not really a shock. That's not really a shock that we're higher than we were 4 years ago, because generally the state of gas prices is that they go up over time. It's one of the reasons, 75 years ago, gas was way cheaper. What it was like a 25 cents a gallon or whatever it is, relative to now where, it's $3 a gallon right now. I'm just talking about gas prices settling down relative to where they were when inflation was peaking, a year and a half ago. Yeah, I don't notice that at all, Christy. They do take commissions out sometimes. But even the thing to understand is that, and again, Christy, maybe you're right. But it sounds like you're struggling to become profitable. No offense. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But what Top Step says about Quant Tower and other platforms is that you want to check your P&L. You want to check your P&L on Rhythmic instead. That they've basically come out and said that the P&L on Quant Tower is not the most accurate. I'm pretty sure. People be aware there could be some crazy movements at the bell. Maybe. Yeah, there could be. Apple's earnings calls this evening. Yeah, earnings season happens quarterly. It's when all the big boy, or it's when all the companies and markets, it's when all the companies report quarterly earnings, and those have a big influence over markets, especially when the big boys drop. Yeah, Top Step's only futures. And again, people like looking at Top Step, right? To understand this, and this is something that people really need to understand, is that for $49, you have the potential to get funded. Most people are not going to get funded. And a lot of people can find all these different people to blame. They can blame me, and they can blame Top Step, and they can blame whomever, right? But in the end, it's $49, and if you're good enough to do it, you can get potentially funded. Regardless of anything else, it builds your skill in trading. And I think that's a very obvious and self-evident thing. I think people struggle in trading, and trading is very difficult, and it's very difficult to get funded. It's not just that difficult to get funded on Top Step. I would say it's difficult to stay funded on any funded account program, and Top Step's the gold standard, right? Because trading's difficult. Day trading's hard, right? It's not easy. It's not an easy thing. Most people lose money at it, and I think a lot of people have to understand that in the end, you're in charge of your own trading. You have to, again, the right move, to be honest, the right move is to get funded and scale down your size dramatically. If you try to trade crazy, trying to get rich every day, you're just going to destroy your account. And that's very true, not just with Top Step funded account programs, but with anything ever, right? If you're trying to get funded, you can take some risks, and I always do. And again, I talk about my risk management system a lot, where I build up a cushion. If I have a cushion of $100 to $200 on the day, then I'm allowed to take more than one contract. Like I can double my size, right? If I build up a larger cushion on the day, then I can double my size some more, right? If I can build up a larger cushion on that, then I can take larger size as well. And that way, when I'm taking big risks, I'm only doing so when I have a large cushion on the day. So if I lose after I take those risks, I'm back to break even instead of being big drawdown, big down. And that's the way to get funded. But once you're funded, you need to follow that same system, very disciplined, as well as you need to scale down your size dramatically, so that your scale up in size should be very small. Well, no, we talked about the $149 activation fee. Again, it seems like you got some type of, thing against Top Step, and that's okay. But, we talked about that very often, and we're not going to just sit around, criticizing the sponsor all day, Again, Top Step's the gold standard. They're the most legit one in the world. People saying Solana is flying. Are they really? I haven't looked at Solana in so long. You don't have to trade it. You can trade as little as much as you want. I talked about but Thomas, I talked about the activation fee. Look, again, we talked about it about 20 minutes ago. I'm not going to sit here and argue with people. So, nice, Jake. I'm on 97. I learned paper trading on Webull when I was able to turn 1 million into 10. Then I dumped my savings into my account, and I've done okay since. Just be careful, bro. It's not as easy to make money. It's not as easy to make money on a real account, because emotions just fly when you're trading, real money, where you actually have pressure on the line. It's very difficult. And that's why Top Step's dope, because it teaches you how to trade under pressure with less risk, in my opinion. But again, they're a sponsor of mine, so of course I'm biased in their favor. We still got people on social media talking about Bed Bath & Beyond. Yeah, it just depends if I've ever seen them before. Hey, congrats, Yair. Good luck, dude. Down. And again, with all that said, if you want to check out Top Step, hey, link is right here. Shameless plug right now. Shameless plug. But again, this is the last thing I'm going to say regarding Top Step right now. People have to have reasonable expectations for it. For $49, you're going to get to test your skill at day trading. To understand like how it really is. You see people upset, and a lot of them blame Top Step. But again, they're just mad they're losing most of the time. Like they're frustrated. Maybe they got funded, paid the activation fee, and then took a bunch of dumb trades and lost it most of the time is what they're upset about, right? In the end, you have to understand, for very cheap, for $49 a month, you're going to get a beautiful test of your skill. You're going to be able to test your skill, see if you're really ready to put the money up yourself. And if you think you're going to lose less than that, putting up the money yourself in trading, again, a lot of you are going to be unpleasantly surprised, okay? A large majority of day traders lose money, not just on Top Step, but everywhere. 95+% of people lose money day trading. It's incredibly risky. A large majority of people lose money. And so you can either put the money up yourself and risk thousands of dollars doing so, or you can try Top Step out for $49. Again, the choice is yours. I'm not, they're a sponsor, of course, I'm biased, but like you have to look at it under the right perspective. Okay, people get mad about all these different things. Like, whatever. Understand, putting up the money up yourself, you could potentially lose thousands of dollars. And that's, what most day traders end up doing, is losing thousands of dollars. I know when I first got started, I lost thousands in the first 3 weeks, not even trading futures, but trading stocks. I tried to use a platform called SureTrader back in the day, which was like an overseas brokerage that gave you like a ton of leverage. And, again, $4,000 to me was a lot of money. I put my last $4K in there in a penny stock account, trying to day trade penny stocks like a dummy, and I lost all of it within like 3 weeks, 2 weeks. I was distraught afterwards. But again, what you'll find in trading is that that is a very, very, very common theme. Almost everybody loses money in the beginning, and so you can either limit that risk, or you can try to look cool on social media and put up 20K and destroy that account, trying to get rich in the stock market. Again, choice is yours. I'm certainly biased because they're sponsors of mine, but in the end, you guys know what it is. When is Grand Theft Auto 5 coming out? Where's AMD at? What's the PE ratio of AMD? I don't think they have a PE ratio. Do they have a forward one yet? What did Palantir end up doing as well? Tesla's still pushing up to almost 215s. Let me look at Palantir. Palantir's still flying up on this earnings call. And understandably so, they killed it with guidance earnings. GTA 6? Oh, yeah, it is GTA 6, man. I forgot. Was the job report good or bad? It's more nuanced than good or bad. Sorry, I got like something on my beard. I got to shave my beard. But it was higher than expected. So more people filed for unemployment than expected. And that actually caused the market to push up because it means less people spending, less people working, less people spending. Market seems to like that lately. It's been pretty consistent there as well. Hey, nice. I don't know if you should buy anything new. No idea if you should buy anything or not. Definitely not going to tell you to buy something. Yeah, how about those Rangers? Honestly, I'm bad they beat my Astros, but I'm glad they won the World Series because they never won before. So props to them. I'm happy for them. So is Adam Aaron changing job titles, they're saying? I see some speculation. 60% of Canadian mortgages set to come up for renewal within 3 years. there actually kid MMA? Dang, dude. Dang, dude, that kid did that, man. Wow. I didn't know kids had MMA fights. This other kid was talking smack, doing all these terrible hand gestures and stuff like that. The kid talking smack almost won. And then this kid pulled guard, scrambled into an armbar, got him. A $500,000 mortgage at 2.75% is $2,000 a month. A $500,000 mortgage at 8.25% is $4,000 a month, roughly. Almost 90% increase just in a few years in what you're paying. Crazy. I'm mad they beat my Diamondbacks, but I had them on my list of teams I wanted to win. Yeah, I'm just happy they won. Again, it's all good. You lost 60,000 in 5 months? Yeah, you're what, in trading? Are you buying shares in Mickey Mantle's house? Where's his house at? Oh, his old house? Nah. I had no idea Powell was going to be so dovish. Yeah, I mean, if you guys remember, I actually called it yesterday, if you guys remember. People are going to act like I didn't. But again, if you guys remember, people bugged me on my prediction for what Powell was going to be. And I told you guys, I think I said exactly this. I think I'm going to go against the grain. I think the Fed is very balanced. I think they're going to be dovish, is what I said yesterday prior to that meeting. Can anybody remember me saying that? Because I know I said it. I know I said it yesterday before the Fed meeting. And so my dovish prediction was correct. Again, the reason I do it is because it's balanced, right? Like a lot of my predictions, again, I'm never really for sure, and I'm always just kind of guessing. And of course, I could be wildly wrong. But a lot of those little kind of guesses, predictions are based off of balance. You know, I'm looking at balance. I'm looking at what the market's done over the last few months since the last Fed meeting. What's potentially looking forward into the future, and balance is what I'm looking at. They need to come out with a Cool Runnings 2. You know? One of the GOAT 90s movies. All right, guys, we got 30 minutes. 30 minutes until the opening. We got Aapl earnings later this evening. Again, so yesterday the Fed said they were strongly committed to achieving 2%. What a shock. They've said it every time. Full effects of tightening have been yet to be felt. Right, so quantitative tightening. Basically, they're saying the rate hikes are going to start affecting things soon. Nominal wage growth showing some signs of easing. So maybe that's good. Labor market remains stronger than expected. That's been pretty consistent. Fed is proceeding carefully on upcoming policy. They're basically not telling you what they're going to do. Reducing inflation requires weaker labor markets. And so it's one of those things where if you want inflation to get better, watch the labor markets closely. Today we did get a little bit of signs of weaker labor markets, which is probably why the market's ripping up, right? We got jobless claims coming in, 7,000 higher than expected at 217K versus 210 expected. So again, that's a great sign of a weaker labor market. I think that's what the market wants. And again, we'll see. I heard you say it yesterday. Yeah, I for sure did. I told people I thought we were going to be dovish. I'll have to find it. Long-term is safer? Yes, most likely. I can't guarantee you're going to make money. It depends on long-term what. Buying a penny stock long-term is not safe. But buying the S&P 500 probably is. It's never for sure, but it's the biggest, most profound edge in markets is blue chip value investing long-term in the S&P, NASDAQ, index funds. There's a reason that most big finance gurus preach about index funds being the GOAT instrument, and it's because they're again, you can earn anywhere between 8 and 12% on average every year. Not every year, on average each year, investing in them, right? So essentially, if you want to understand that logic, right? Essentially, you invest 100K, you're basically going to make $10,000 on average a year from that $100,000 in the stock market. If you could, again, the real truth of this, right? And the reason I get so frustrated with people making all these big, bold crash and run predictions is that, like, in order to actually take advantage of that edge, you have to not touch it. A lot of people preach against money managers, like people who manage your money, like Edward Jones or whatever. A lot of people preach against money managers and finance people, but what they do, that's the most important thing, is they don't touch your money a lot of the time. They make it sit, because again, if you sit there and watch it, if you've got $100,000 in a portfolio, bro, you're going to be watching that thing like a hawk. Any small day, I see the behavior of people here too, and me included sometimes. Again, I'm not judging, but we get a half percent drop and it's the end of the world. The bear market's back, the market's going to fall. We get half a pump move up, half a percentage move up, bull market back, everything's all good. And so it's very difficult for most people to not touch a portfolio like that. Like it's very different. It's very difficult. And the real edge long term is if you don't touch it and you let it compound over time. It's the biggest edge you get. If you got to mess with it, you're going to lose the edge a lot of the time. Yeah, we got a lot less of a reaction from the JOLTS report than we did the previous one. Like last month we had JOLTS, or the month before we had JOLTS, and we had, big reaction to it. Yesterday's was much less of a reaction, although we did have PMI drop at the same time. All right, we got durable good orders dropping in like an hour. Nothing else really comes out. We got some of the bond options, auctions and stuff, but yeah. Oh, thank you guys so much, guys. We broke 117K subs. I forgot to thank you all for it, so I appreciate the love, guys. Thanks so much. Genuinely appreciate the love. We don't have a report today, Justin, like that. I mean, we got oh yeah, you're actually right. I'm sorry. We have we had the Challenger job cuts today too. It came in at 36.8K. I forgot about that. But yeah, at 10 o'clock, we got durable good orders. It's not big, though. It's factory orders and durable goods. And so it's a very small report. It's almost certainly not going to have a big influence over markets. The big boy reports following Aapl today. So again, this evening we have Aapl. Again, we're going to stream it live like we always do. But the big report that you probably want to watch is after Aapl, I mean, like outside of earnings, the big report you want to watch is unemployment and payroll numbers. Speaking of jobs, right? Tomorrow is the actual unemployment numbers, right? So today's the weekly jobless claims report, which is much less of an influence over markets. The big report that you do want to follow is unemployment and payroll numbers tomorrow. We had prelim payroll numbers Wednesday. So yesterday we had prelim payroll numbers. They don't really have a huge influence, but tomorrow's unemployment and payroll numbers are going to be big. And there's something that you definitely want to watch. You definitely kind of want to keep an eye on that stuff. And that's going to give a big influence on jobs and what that means for the economy. So watch tomorrow. We're going to stream the whole thing like we always do at 8:30 for payroll and unemployment. And it's a big release. We'll see what happens. And I think that's going to be, I don't know what kind of week we have next week. I know we have some earnings next week, like I think it's AMC earnings, maybe next Wednesday. And so we'll have that. And again, AMC should be fun. We're in AMC right now. Monday, pretty quiet. Tuesday, import-export prices pretty quiet. Some Fed members speaking. Wednesday, we got basically nothing. We have a mortgage market index, 30-year mortgage rate, and that's basically it. Thursday, we got jobless claims. Friday. So yeah, next week we have nothing going on, basically nothing. No economic reports. Michigan inflation expectations, although maybe it just hasn't refreshed yet. The week after that, I'm pretty sure we have CPI. Yeah, so the week after we got CPI, PPI. Back to normal though with CPI and then PPI the next day. The New York Empire State Index, Philly Fed Index, industrial production, building permits. We got a little pullback. I might buy a dip here on the NASDAQ. I'm going to buy one little piece, see if we can build up a cushion real quick on the day. All right, we're up 10. I like this dip though. I mean, I think this dip looks good. We're flat. We built up a nice cushion yesterday. We'll see if we can keep it up. I usually have a rule by the NASDAQ first thing, and so maybe I'm breaking my rule right now. Usually I go with the E-mini. But again, this is futures trading, guys, so I can day trade short. This is basically the Q I'm trading right now in futures. All right, we retraced back up. I was really close to cutting that. Still very close to cutting it, but we got a little bit of a retracement fast. I think this looks good, but it's also very risky and anything could happen here. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut that and get out. We lost like 50 bucks. I just don't trust that here. And again, I'm going to go back to maybe trading the regular E-mini. We did make a cool 700 yesterday. So. All right, so markets pushed up a lot on this jobs report. See if we can build up something. All right, big dip. Might get kind of close to cutting this. I'm gonna have to exit out of Quant Tower. It looks a little off. I gotta reset it. I left it on all night, and so I'm gonna reset this. Amex still looking pretty solid today. All right, that looks a little bit better. Let's see, it's still weird. E-mini. That trend looks better. Here's the micro E-mini. We'll just keep that up for now. Looks a little bit better. That's what we wanted. All right, so there's the E-mini. We got a little pop bounce. Let's get the music put back on. Carvana, I don't know. We'll cover it with Aapl, but it's not like a huge report. We got 20 minutes, guys. 20 minutes. Good morning, John from Southern Cali. Egg. Good morning. Palantir is still dipping down. What about NVIDIA? Again, NVIDIA's kind of been the one, like the reason we've been on this run. NVIDIA testing highs at 435. I think we got to watch Tesla too. Tesla just cracked highs at 214. NVIDIA's still pumping towards it. NVIDIA 234 is Tesla 214, Apple 176. Yeah, maybe we'll get a pullback. I mean, obviously, I hope not, but All right, so we got a little dip. Let's see if the market continues to want to bounce here. Market looks like it still kind of wants to move up. Very choppy for the last few seconds here. We still got 15 minutes until the market opens. But Tesla rejecting that top of the range here. I think that's influencing it a lot too. We got to also look at Aapl today because the big boy Aapl earnings are dropping. And Aapl all the way back at the VWAP here, pulling back some. Watching the dollar index has been dropping pretty nicely today too. So we make another test higher. Again, Aapl right at the VWAP, I think makes a lot of sense to pay attention to. It's right at 176, and if we get a bounce off of that volume weighted average price spot, then like we could be primed to get some better movement too. So getting a bounce right at that 176 level on Aapl would probably push the rest of the market up. We took most of the profit off on Aapl. We've been holding it all morning. We're still holding some of it though, just to clarify. Nvidia is another one we're still watching also. Yeah, definitely the dippiest dip I've ever seen on Aapl right now. Top 3 dips. Nvidia retracing that dip from October 25th. Yeah, oil is falling. Yeah, I've been in Exxon. Slightly red on it now. Maybe held on to it a little bit too long. That's all good. Oh, sorry. You're talking to myself. Sorry, I'm muted. Yeah, I'm definitely not telling anybody to buy Aapl. I have no idea what it's going to do. I might be wildly wrong about anything I ever say. Not liable if you lose. You know, always make your own judgment, your own assessment. Trade responsibly here, team. No idea what's going to happen. Nobody does. Any correction today in the market? Maybe. I mean, we pushed up a lot, and so I think if there is some momentum, it's probably to the downside, although you never really know, in all honesty. right, so we're gonna put up maybe. Let's see if the E-mini works now. For whatever reason, the price action's a little off. I think if I put a 5-minute chart up, we'll probably just trade off a 5-minute chart then today if this one's not acting right. Yeah, so Aapl now under that 176 level we mentioned. So Aapl now under 176. Where did Quant Tower go, dude? I keep losing it. There it is. All right. Where'd it go? Sorry. Problem with 4 monitors is that I lose this thing every time. All right. There's the regular E-mini, which is basically the SPY. Aapl did break under that level. Also, I forgot I was in the SPY already. Futures are open basically 24/7, but funded account programs or Top Step makes you close your positions down at the end of every day, and so there's a period of time that you can't trade. I would check with them first. I never trade around that time, so it's not super important to me. My eye itches, man. Do I still have my black eye? Let me know, guys. Is my black eye still present here? Let's zoom in. Is my black eye still present? It is, man. Look at my black eye, dude. Look at this. Definitely top 3 black eyes in the world right now for sure. Look at that. I don't even know where I got this from, to be honest. I don't even know where I got it. But it's definitely top 3. $400 NVIDIA calls on Monday would have hit $395. I should have held. You sold? Oh, man. That's a rough one, dude. Your wife doesn't play. Yeah, I'm a battered husband over here, you know? No. No, I probably got it from jiu-jitsu is my guess. I just don't remember ever getting, you know, the good thing about my family is that none of us are physical with the other ones in a negative way. You know what I mean? Yeah, we don't have those problems, you know? This is from jiu-jitsu in some way. Again, I don't remember when it happened though. So like, I just kind of looked in my eye and my daughter was like, "Oh, Daddy, you got a black eye." And I was like, "Yeah." I don't know where I got it, but yeah, the UFC lost big on the Francis situation. You know, now again, I'm going to go out and say this. I still think Francis and I still think Jones was ducking Francis. I think Jones does not want to watch Francis. I think Jones knows that Francis is the biggest threat to his record. I think Jones knows that Francis does not play. He's got great takedown defense. He's big. He's strong. He has KO power. I think Jones understood that. And so Jones wanted 10 times more than the largest previous fight in UFC history. And he was never going to get that. And so he budgeted his way out of it. But good for Francis, man. Again, Francis wanted to let the UFC handle this boxing fight so that the UFC and could help manage the Fury versus Francis fight. And the UFC said no, said nobody was going to want him. Francis left the UFC as champion, as heavyweight champion. Francis left, and they cut him. And then he ended up getting one of the biggest boxing fights in recent memory, doing big numbers, basically beating the heavyweight champ in boxing, an MMA fighter basically beating the heavyweight champ. Everybody kind of knows Francis was at the very least very close to beating him. A lot of people on the scorecards had it for Francis, and the UFC lost out on all of that. Now Jones is trying to find Stipe, who's kind of old and like past his prime, and Jones, everybody knows Jones is just going to run through Stipe. So again, UFC lost big on that. They lost big. You remind me of Ryan Felipe, bro. I've had so many people tell me that. I guess I'll take it as a compliment. I've heard a lot of different ones, right? Yesterday, I heard John Krasinski from The Office in my family, but I had long hair, and so I'm sure I looked a little bit more like him as long hair. But I've heard Ryan Felipe a lot. I've also heard Paul Felder, the Irish Dragon, Paul Felder, MMA fighter. I've heard Forrest Griffin, which hurt me right here when somebody told me that. I've heard a lot of different ones, man. Yeah, I know Jones is injured. Yeah, I'm referring to Francis. Not from Carroll, I hope. No, man. Yeah, it's from training. John Stock down 10%. Hey, definitely one of the top 3 Ryan Felipe lookalikes in the world right now for sure. Anyways, guys, hey, we got 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Yeah, Rangers did win. Good for them. I'm happy for him. I'd rather Texas team win than anybody else. Japan approved $110 billion stimulus package to fight inflation. All right, SPY moving back up. Look at Tesla rip. Tesla testing highs again. NVIDIA almost up to 435s. I YOLO short Bitcoin at 35.8K and it worked. I don't know if YOLO anything is right. I don't know if that's ever the right move. What do you think about Tesla continuing? Have any idea? I think Tesla's down a lot over the last month or two. And so I think the extension's probably on the upside or on the downside, and I think it'll probably move up. But I'm not sure, Microsoft dropped for some reason. Yeah, Microsoft is dumping down here. I wonder why. Let's see. So Wells Fargo Consumer Lending CEO says they've reduced the originations in the auto loan business. Anybody know why Microsoft's dumping fast? I mean, Tesla's falling pretty quickly too. Yeah, I don't know. Everything's not dumping. Again, Microsoft is dumping much larger than everything else. NVIDIA's staying put. Look, here's Microsoft. Microsoft gave back, pretty big numbers just now. I'm not sure why. Maybe insider selling. I don't know. And again, if you haven't already, check out TopStat. funded account program. If you want to day trade and you want to learn, you could try to look cool on Twitter, putting the money up yourself. But in the end, most day traders lose in the beginning. So you can either try to look really cool and lose a bunch, or you could try a funded account program, limit your risk, learn how to trade with pressure. If you fail, it's not the end of the world. If you're good enough to pass it, you still keep 90% of your profit once you're funded, and you get to keep your first 10K in profit as long as, there's some other nuance and rules to it. But in that regard, it makes perfect sense. In futures, you can day trade the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, currencies, gold, silver, very similar to day trading stocks. The patterns are very similar, yet there's no PDT restrictions, less red tape. If you want to check it out, here is the link. They are a sponsor. I'm biased, of course, because they pay me money. But check it out. All right, guys, here's the opening bell, 20 seconds. You think I look like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, bro? Or the punk from SLC Punk? Salt Lake City Punk? You think I look like the guy? Blue hair? Shaggy from Scooby-Doo? He's much taller than me, I'll tell you that. This dude's like, what, 6'4"? Yeah, much taller than me. Anyways, here's the opening bell, guys. Market's pushing up, E-mini pushing up, Tesla bouncing at that VWAP level. Let's see if Microsoft can rebound. That's been one of the biggest drops. Apple's still surging up pretty well at the opening bell, back up to 176. Again, we'll see if it actually holds. Oh, you said I look like Matthew. You look okay, gotcha. Sorry, I thought you said I looked like him. I was like, man. Yeah, Microsoft at 347s. So Microsoft, I don't know why it's down so much. Maybe some news comes out, but I haven't seen anything yet. So far, E-mini moving up a little bit. So we're bouncing up on the E-mini on a 5-minute chart. Again, you can kind of see Tesla dumping down a little bit at the opening bell, looking weak. Starting to rebound, though. Watch NVIDIA, too. There's Tesla. Is NVIDIA moving up? What's dragging the market up? Apple could be. Could be Apple. It's not really NVIDIA right now. Oh, Shaggy certainly was, Jim. Maybe one of the top 3 in the world. Apple up to 176. Let's see if it holds. NVIDIA still trying to break down under 430s. E-mini at 297s. Look at the market rip. Again, what's weird, I see Apple moving up, but I guess the market's following Apple to a certain extent. Market's testing highs of the day, just cracked highs on the E-mini at least. Again, NVIDIA's fallen down, though, so I don't really trust this move up yet on the SPY. Again, I see NVIDIA falling down. But a nice little churn up. Again, we're up to over 4,300 right now, up to over 4,300. Crazy bull action coming out of nowhere here. Everything else starting to follow the S&P back up too. Again, mostly Apple. Huge green candles. What? Why? Why is it? Microsoft rebounding. Bouncing right off that previous close. AMD down. Tesla flat. Is it banks? No. What sector's ripping up causing this, guys? Anybody know? Let me guess. Let me check the chat. Usually this has to do with like one sector really running here. You guys have any idea what's dragging the market up? I know Apple's one of them for sure. But look at this pump on a 5-minute chart, which, again, it's not really tech. It's not banks. Palantir testing highs. Is it healthcare? UNH. UNH is up, but it's definitely not mooning. PayPal down a decent amount since the open. Man, my portfolio is up. American Express, Google, Home Depot. Yeah, Amex is breaking highs. Good. Churning here. A little bit too extended for me here on a 5-minute chart, so I'm just waiting. Consumer retail, Home Depot and Lowe's. Okay, got you. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's actually what's ripping. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was trying to figure it out. Usually, like, if all the big boy tech stocks are dropping, but the market's ripping up, it's usually like a little bit more obscure sector moving. And so that's actually what's going on. Is the NASDAQ. Let's take a 1-minute chart, see if there's better patterns. Also, guys, check out Chart Prime. I might start using this one a little bit more. I'm looking at the NASDAQ on the Market Oracle Pro, like on a 1-minute time frame, which I never really use because it's pretty short term. But like, look at how accurate this is. Like, look, sell signal today at least. And again, I can't guarantee you're gonna make money. They're a sponsor of mine, but check this out. Like, look at the buy and sell signals today, just on the short term. This is called the Market Oracle Pro. Look at the sell signal, dip, strong buy signal here, beautiful bounce. Sell signal here, worked. Let's keep going back here just to test it yourself. Back test it for a day or two. Look at the strong signals as well. Strong signal there, boom, bounce. Strong signal here, boom, bounce. We didn't really have any other ones. Buy worked. Sell, this one maybe didn't work, but sell signal here worked as well. And again, you can keep back testing. This is the Market Oracle Pro, so it's a little bit shorter term. And again, look at the strong signals. That's what I'm genuinely impressed on a 1-minute chart. Look at the strong sell signal here, beautiful drop. Strong sell signal here, drop. Strong sell signal here, drop. Impressive. Again, there's a lot of stuff to backtest on Chart Prime. This is a trading view indicator service. You could also use it in stocks, crypto, forex, futures. I could put a 2-hour chart up. And I don't know about the buy and sell signals. I think those are more meant for shorter term price action. But like, here's the NASDAQ. And again, there's so much stuff that they offer. I could put up chart patterns as well. Look at these. Honestly, these look pretty good too. Like, let me get rid of the regular Market Oracle here. But look at these. This is right. It's called the Market Oracle Pro. Look, buy signal down here, bounce. Strong signal. Again, the strong ones seem to be very accurate. Look, dip. Buy signal here, bounce, work. Strong signal again here. Nice little drop. Sell signal there, drop. Buy signal there, bounce. That's like 100%. Impressive. Again, this is called Chart Prime. There's so much other stuff that they offer. This is a 2-hour chart, so every candlestick represents an hour or 2 hours. Smart money concepts. I could put up chart patterns, flag patterns, oscillators. It's like you can get 40% off if you use my link. There's so much stuff. Like, look, you can see flag patterns, all this cool stuff. It's a trading view service, so you can use it in stocks, crypto, forex, futures. Again, they are a sponsor of mine. I'm definitely biased, of course. But if you want to check them out, here is the link. You can get 40% off using them. Great way to help support your boy here in this channel. I can't guarantee you're going to make money. Nobody can. But genuinely useful, I think. Genuinely useful. Check out the link. Okay, so what's lifted up the market right now, guys? Again, ExxonMobil, Exxon is up. Home Depot is up. Lowe's is up. Amex is up. Yeah, we're up like $1,000 or so today on our equities portfolio. Like we're up, like look, this is my P&L on the day. Again, I'm red in some of these positions still, but like up $1,000 on the day, roughly $974. Market is churning up here. A lot of red to green moves. Big upward movement here for sure today, guys. Interesting. Definitely looking pretty solid. Tesla churning up a lot today as well. Look at Tesla. I don't know if it's actually going to hold. We'll see. I hope it does. But man, Tesla churning up. I think I'll just let that sit. I mean, we're up so much. Rivian. Yeah, Rivian's probably following Tesla, is my guess. Yeah, Apple is the number one weighted stock in the S&P. Yeah, sorry to hear, Pawn. Some days are just tough, bro. And again, I'm pretty quiet since the opening bell. Let's see if a 1 minute chart works again. All right. We'll get a little pullback here. I don't want to get too greedy. We got so much upward action here that like it's been so much greed action. I've been hesitant to take anything. And I might just close it down and come back later on today for Apple earnings, guys. I think I'll probably just do that. So again, I'm going to come back for Apple earnings today. Remember, Apple earnings this evening. Big report, guys. Big report for Apple earnings. Be ready. Should be really fun to watch and see what we get today for Apple. Hopefully we get some good movement. We've had a lot of bullish action today, guys. Just a lot of bullish, very strong bullish action, guys. So if you haven't already, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I appreciate the love and support. Again, check out Top Step. It's a funded account program in futures. They give you a demo and they test your skill. And if you can hit the target on the demo without hitting the max loss, they fund you if you can follow their rules between 50 to 150K with a 90% split. They pay out millions every year, fund thousands of traders a year. Great way to learn how to day trade with less risk. And again, there's no PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P. This is the S&P 500 futures contract. You can day trade the NASDAQ, currencies, gold and silver. Take advantage of some of these market moves. Look at Tesla breaking highs again. Again, we're going to be back later on. Apple earnings are going to be one of the big, heavy influences over the market, guys. And so, again, we will be back later on for that. Love you all. Y'all be safe. Check out Top Step, and I'll be back in a few hours. Good luck, team.